Hey, what's up guys? It's Jonathan and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at that guy right there. That is the HP 27C Pavilion 1080p curved display. And you see, for the longest time, I've always wanted a dual monitor setup. Not that I need one. I have the LG 34-inch ultra-wide Quad HD display, and that is more than enough room and is fully capable of doing everything that I need it to do. But I like to use Final Cut Pro. People that use Adobe have much more customization when it comes to their workflow. They can drag different boxes and customize their panels much more than you can on Final Cut Pro. Pretty much what you get with Final Cut is what you get. But I like to blow up my timeline, that way I can see everything that I'm editing. And in the meantime, while you're editing, if you're editing in silence, it can be a bit boring. So I like to have YouTube videos going in the background. And that is why I wanted a dual monitor setup. So that way I can have my Twitter feed going, YouTube videos, or Netflix, whatever it is I'm doing, I have something to do other than just edit. I have some background noise. Well, thanks to the people over at HP, they hooked me up and they sent me the 27C Pavilion 1080p curved display to review. And that is what we're going to be taking a look at today. So first off, in the box, you get a few things. You get an HDMI cable, that way you can hook it up to the source that you want to hook it up to. You get an AC power cord and the, of course, wall wart. And then you get some software and some instructions on the specs and some basic information of the monitor. You also get a stand. And I'll cover that in just a moment, how to install it. It comes in two pieces, and it's actually a pretty simple thing to install, but I did have some minor problems with it, and I'll explain all that in just a minute. So taking a quick tour around the monitor itself, on the back side, you're going to find your different ports. You have an HDMI port, then you have an HDMI MHL port, which actually stands for Mobile High Definition Link, and that's going to be used to connect like your phone or your tablet to it, and you can use it from an HDMI to HDMI mini, and then of course you'll have to get the adapter to support your phone. But what it does is it charges your phone while you're viewing your content on the monitor. And then of course you have the VGA port as well. Also on the back side, on the back left-hand side, you're going to find three buttons. One is a menu button, and then two are plus and minus, and that's how you're going to be able to scroll through the actual settings of the monitor itself. On the right-hand side, you just have a plus and a minus, and that's going to control your volume, whether you want to go up or down, but the basic functions. On the front side, on the right bottom side, you're going to find the actual power button. It's very tactile, very responsive. It gives you a nice comforting click when you press it, and you only got to press it once to turn it on and once to turn it off. So back to the stand. The stand itself is pretty flimsy. It's definitely the weak point of the monitor, but it does a great job at holding it up still. It just, to me, I've had different monitors with better stands, but this stand definitely does its job. To install it, all you have to do is take the first piece, the piece that actually connects directly to the monitor, and slide it in the slot on the back. There's a little piece of metal and it just slides right in, pretty much locks in. And then you take the bottom part and then you slide it on the metal of the first part of the stand that you just installed. You should hear it click. There's actually a little button that you'll press to release it whenever you're ready. If you take a look on the bottom side, you're going to find two pieces of rubber, and that's to prevent scratching on whatever surface that you set your monitor on. Now, I did run into a problem with the installation because for the first 2 days, I actually had the stand on wrong. I had the bottom part on upside down, and I was wondering why it wouldn't stay on, but after a few days, I figured out what the problem was, and it was definitely an operator error. Now, one cool thing about the stand though, even though it is one of my least favorite things of the monitor, is the fact that it has a little cubby down there on the bottom, and you can actually tuck away your tablet or your phone when you have it hooked up to the monitor and you're viewing content directly off your device. So it's a nice little added feature that HP done there. Now with the stand, you do get a little bit of tilting, so you can tilt it down and you can tilt it up. You don't get a lot of movement there, but it's definitely enough to do the job to give you a great viewing experience. And plus the fact that it is a curved display, HP says it's going to immerse you in your content a little bit more. However, I think curved displays at this point are a bit gimmicky. I don't really feel any more immersed in watching some content on a curved display rather than a flat panel, but it still does look nice. I have to say, for a 1080p panel especially, this thing looks pristine. So before you guys throw out the idea of buying a 1080p monitor, definitely make sure that you are actually ready for 4K content, because actually a lot of content creators are still making 1080p content because 4K is just so expensive. But anyways, we'll cover that in just a moment. So taking a quick look just at the monitor itself, it's going to appear like it has really thick bezels. And that's because it has front-facing speakers. You see those thick things on the right-hand side and the left-hand side are actually really, really good speakers. Do not let monitor speakers fool you, especially when it comes to this. They produce amazing sound. In fact, I have been actually going the route of using my HP monitor for all of my sounds when I was using the LG monitor because I don't have studio monitor speakers. So when I'm editing or if I want to listen to music, I have all my sound coming from the HP monitor now because it just sounds that much more pristine. It does have decent amount of bass. I wouldn't say it's really, really good or really, really great, but it's definitely a decent amount of bass to get the job done. Mids and highs sound great. Compared to just using a pair of headphones, I found it to be quite comparative. Of course, you're going to get better sound quality out of headphones, especially depending on the headphones that you have. I don't have the best headphones, but the HP speakers work great for me. And then if you go into the menu settings, you actually have tons of different audio controls, whether it's equalizer, adjusting the treble, the bass, things like that. But really, ultimately, what's a monitor without a great picture? So I'm happy to say that the HP 27C Pavilion curved 1080p display is a great picture, especially for a 1080p display. And you're going to see pixels, don't get me wrong. It's not Quad HD, it's not 4K, and it's definitely not a 5K iMac. But for a 1080p panel, it looks great. It has an anti-reflective coating on it to minimize glare if you're in a highly lit area. And overall, the picture is very, very accurate. It has a 95% sRGB gamma, but you can actually change the picture mode. You can adjust the saturation, the contrast, the definition, or the sharpness. So all that can be customized into the settings menu, and it has tons of different settings to adjust all that. I believe there's a game mode, there's a photo mode. Basically, all the modes that you think of on a normal monitor, you're gonna find on this, plus many, many more. Operating through the menu can be a little bit aggravating. It takes a little bit of time to get used to using the plus and minus buttons, and of course the menu button to select OK, and then to leave out of the menu. It takes a little bit of time just to get accustomed to it. So when it comes to the actual performance of the monitor, you're looking at a 1080p panel with a 60 Hz refresh rate, and that should be perfectly fine for editing video, viewing content. Now when it comes to games, I'm not a big gamer on the computer, so I really can't tell you from a personal experience, just from what I know. And 60 Hz refresh rate should be just fine at most games. Now games that have a super high frame rate, you might be looking at 120 Hz refresh rate, so you might want to step it up there, but 80% of the games should be fine. Like I said, I'm not a big gamer on the computer. I have an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4, and that's where I choose to spend my time gaming. So pretty much what I do is I take everything from Final Cut, I export in 1080p, and then I watch it on the HP. That way I can see what other people are viewing in a 1080p aspect, and I love that. And this monitor is amazing when it comes to the actual visual experience. It gives you a great experience. The picture is pretty sharp. I mean, like I said, you're gonna see pixels. It's a 1080p panel, not Quad HD or 4K, but it's a great picture. Plus, when it comes to just browsing the web, checking out Twitter, Facebook, even doing some photo editing, it should be perfectly acceptable. It's not going to be anything like a 720p panel. It's still a really, really good 1080p panel, and it almost has like a widescreen effect, so it does a great job in the performance area. If I had to pick 3 things I didn't like about this monitor, number 1 would be the stand. I just don't find the stand to be super premium. Again though, for $350, you're not gonna get a platinum or stainless steel stand. You're going to get the bare minimal, and that's exactly what HP done here. I mean, it holds the monitor up great. Don't get me wrong, it's not that it's unstable. As you can see, it's supporting itself just fine, and when I tilt it up and down, it does a great job at holding its own. It's just a whole installation process. I'd rather have a stand that screws directly into the monitor, that way I know it's more safe and secure. Number 2 would be the actual build quality of the monitor. It's done in a matte plastic, and even though the back does show fingerprints quite bad, it's not as bad as some of the other monitors, but when you're moving it around, it kind of creaks a little bit, so it's not the most durable plastic in my opinion, but granted, you're not moving your monitor from place to place. It's just the build quality could have been stepped up and maybe made a little bit more presentable and a little bit better looking. And number 3 would be the fact that it doesn't have a Vase mount support. And I love Vase mounts. When I thought of my dual monitor setup, I thought I'm gonna get a Vase mount supported monitor like the LG here, and then mount them up side by side. And the fact that the HP doesn't support Vase mounts was a little bit depressing, but nevertheless, this is a great monitor, and I really appreciate HP hooking it up and sending me out this monitor for review, because it definitely has enhanced my game up when it comes to my editing and just multitasking in general. Having a super wide screen, pretty much because you're having 2 monitors side by side, is an awesome thing. And even if one's Quad HD and one's 1080p and they don't quite look the same, it still, to me, is awesome, and I'm very, very happy with this monitor and all the things that I've been able to accomplish with it. Well guys, that pretty much does it for my review of the HP 27C Pavilion 1080p curved display monitor. That's a mouthful. If you guys feel like checking it out, hit up the description of this video. You can find an Amazon link there, which will actually give me a little kickback. It doesn't cost you guys anything. But if you guys don't feel like supporting the channel in that way, I'll also leave the link directly to the HP store. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think of this monitor. Are you going to be getting one? Are you even interested in 1080p anymore? I'd like to know your feedback. Also subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Follow me on all my social media connections, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.